In the world of networking, computers don't go by name like humans do. They go by numbers because that is how computer and other similar devices talk and identify with each other over a network. It uses the numbers such as IP addresses. To do have communication with humans using computers, they use a way of communication systems called DNS, also known as domain name system. DNS resolves the names to numbers. To be more specific, it resolves domain names into IP address. For example, if you type web address in a web browser, DNS will resolve from names to a number because the only thing the computer knows is numbers or zeros and ones. As we know, we are not customized to memorized and dealing with numbers, especially when there are millions of websites in the internet. We can just type in domain name instead and let DNS convert it to IP address for us. If you type google.com in your web browser, the DNS search through its database to find a matching IP address for that domain name, and when it finds it, it will resolve the domain name with IP address, and once it is done, then your computer can communicate with google.com web server and retrieve the web page. It basically works like a phone book. For example, when you type google.com, if your web browser or operating systems cannot find the address in its own cache memory, it will send query to the next level, what is called the resolver server. They are basically an ISP or an internet service provider. Then it will check its own cache memory for the IP address. If not, it will send the query to next level for the server, which is called root server. The root server is the top or the root of the DNS, and there are 13 sets of this root server strategically placed around the world and operated by 12 different organizations, and each sets are as their own unique IP addresses. If this not helps out, the root server knows to send the resolver to find the google.com, so the root server sends directly to the TLD server, also known as top level domain server, and when resolver receives this message, it will start to ask with TLD server for IP addresses of google.com. TLD server where it stores the address information for top level domains such as .com, .net, .org and so on. This particular server manages the .com majoritarily, domain in which google.com is a part of. If the TLD cannot find the address, it will send query to next and final level, that is authoritative name server. And once the resolver will ask for ANS for the IP address for google.com, because they are responsible for knowing everything about the domain, which includes IP address and their final authority. It will respond with the IP address for google.com when it receives query from resolver, and finally resolver will tell your computer the IP address of google.com, and resolver will store it in its cache memory so that this process will not repeat again if any other computer asks for same query like google.com.